Hello, thanks for tuning back in. Appreciate you checking out another video, and this is coming to you from Potomac Shores Golf Club. This is the back nine, and in the off chance you came from the previous video, which was the front nine, I kind of alluded to what I'll be doing today, and if it wasn't clear from the thumbnail, basically I wanted to see how I would do if I played from the tips. So my normal tee boxes, I play the golds, and that was around 6,350, so about 6,400 yards, we'll round up. And then the tips, it tips out over 7,000 yards. So there's about a 600-700 yard difference. It's not exactly like a 350 yard difference each nine. So I don't know what the exact differential is between those two. But my goal for today is to see if I can keep up score-wise. Okay, so on the first tee shot from tips, that's my ball right there. And you can see like right there, I'll try to zoom in. I mean, good thing is it's pretty consistent, but it'll be interesting how playing like a 7-iron versus a 3 hybrid 5-iron is my next shot. This will be interesting. Wow, Mark, very well said. Couldn't have said it better myself. But basically for this experiment, by the way, that was a pop fly to left. That went like a whopping 80 yards. So chunky. That's just chunky monkey right there firsthand. But the goals for today, in terms of score, yes, I'd love to see if I could play as close as possible score-wise, but the only real stat that I'll be tracking, and I'll throw it up at the end of the video, are going to be greens and regulation, GERs. Because the way that I was thinking about this, and it'll actually be evident on a few holes, the tips, me playing from the tips, the score shouldn't be penalized if I'm 5-putting, every single green. And yes, I do understand that in theory, playing from a shorter tee boxes, my approaches should be easier and a lot tighter, so putting should be a lot less. But fairways hit, out of bounds, how many putts I make are actually not really something I'm looking for today. So I'm going to be just keeping track of GERs because in my opinion, I want to see if I can be scoring or be scoreable, if that's even a word. Is that a word? I think so. But I want to see if playing from the tips, I'm still able to score versus playing like defensive golf where it's fairway, miss green, chip on short, and then save a par. A par is a par in a scorecard, but everyone knows a comfy 2-putt par versus a defensive scrambling par is a huge difference. And then this is where you really notice, or at least I really noticed the difference. This was a 235 slightly elevated into the wind. If I wasn't on camera and I was playing by myself, I actually would have considered a choke down driver. I didn't have it in me to put that on camera because I guess the ego in me just didn't want to see it. But I take my 3-wood, and if I hit it really good, I could probably get it there. I actually hit the 3-wood of my life, and I think the wind just ate it, but it hit the very top part of that hill, somehow stayed up right there. I actually think I would have preferred a sand shot. It was a really awkward lie. I bladed that chip. And I actually told myself if I walk away with bogey on this hole, actually on either shot, because the second shot, the normal one's still 190 out. But if you haven't noticed, there's 2 huge greenside bunkers you have to carry, so it plays like a 180 pure carry. And then even if you hit it long, that rough is super thick. This is just a really tough hole. And actually not even a tough hole, it's just a tough course in general. I don't know if you came from the previous video where I threw it up. The golds plays to a 139 slope, and the tips, I think it's 145-ish. It's a super hard course. So I'm very happy with bogeys on this, believe it or not. And we live to see another day. And another thing you'll notice too on the bottom right, I do calculate the yardage differences. So I don't mind maybe like anywhere between 20 to 30 yard difference. Like, yes, that's a 2 to 3 club difference potentially on my next or my second shots. But it's when you get to 40, 50 yards plus, that's where I just get destroyed. And speaking of distance, I don't know what the hell. I was looking all around. I somehow, you're going to see in a second, my second drive, I was 79 yards ahead.
That's a shot of the day,
of
baby.
My tee shot from the tips. And it was only like a 26-yard difference, meaning I really smoked one. The golds was 475 out, and I had 139 in. So I don't know. Did I hit it 340? All right, here we go. That's my approach on a par 5. That's for eagle. And then that's the ball from the tips, if you can see it. It's technically fairway. I'm going to putt that because I don't have a wedge on me. But 2 eagle looks, let's get it.
Oh, hell yeah. You can't complain when you're putting for eagle twice. And one thing just to note, there was some tailwind with us, so, maybe it's not impossible that I got close to 300. Ooh, and look at that putt, by the way, from the fairway. Texas wedge all day. Texas forever. Let's go. But yeah, I have no idea how I had, I think, 140 in. Just made no sense. And this is a really makeable putt, and you hate to see it. The flat stick is killing me. We got to get the flat stick rolling. What would Bobby Fairways tell me right now? The flat stick's got to get hot. And this was just for my own sanity. I wanted to see if I could make an eagle, which obviously the second ball always goes in. And actually, in hindsight, it's funny. When I took that gimme, I mean, it was within the leather for sure, but I should have put that out. That was kind of a questionable gimme. But oh well, it's my video. It's my round. Deal with it. And when you're looking at the screen and you see, 140 yards, 120 yards, this is a gap wedge for me on the second shot, you're thinking, oh, it must be really easy. It was not. What makes this course, a 139, 145 plus slope, well, it's a few things. The elevation's crazy, so you're always second guessing your clubs. The rough, super, super thick. It's almost, if you're in it, just good luck. Just punch out, take your medicine. It's like you're at Winged Foot. It's crazy. Ooh, yikes. By the way, side note, that's a great example of, that was my ball from the tips, as you saw. And so on the scorecard, you're going to see a double bogey. Or was that a double? No, that was a bogey. Regardless, on the scorecard, you're going to see that, but, that has nothing to do from the tee box. That's just me sucking at putting. The flat stick, get it rolling.
Oh, that's always fun. Casual 605 par 5. Oh well, let's get it.
600 plus yards, sick, man. Can't wait to go driver 3-wood, miss the green, chip on, yikes. This is just, I'm just not ready for the tips.
Well, I think we're scooted up today because it says 485, and I should be playing, according to the card, it should be like 560, but hey, free yards, let's go.
Hey, 100 yards scoot up difference, I am not complaining. As you heard me say a second ago, this should be playing like 565, 570. This is playing today like 485. I am not complaining. And then here's my ball from the tips all the way back. It was a funny drive too, because the tee boxes were so far up. My drive to that shot from the cart, it was like a 50, 60 yard difference. It was pathetic. Anyway, I take 3-wood there and I take 3-wood again. I actually hit 2 really, really clean 3-woods. For my second shot where I'm playing regular, I leave it about, I want to say like 20, 25 yards short. And then that was a really, really good strike. So it ends up right here. I'm about pin high, but I'm in the right rough. Luckily, I caught, you can see how the grass, there's a few parts that are dead. My ball was actually in the dead rough, meaning it wasn't that bad to get out. I had a really good chip. You can see it right there. I hit it to about, I think that's like 4 feet. So I have a really, really good shot at a makeable par. And then that's my approach for my regular shot, and I have a very, very makeable birdie. So this is just a good example. I think this hole summarizes the experiment up entirely. So you're going to see here on the scorecard, that's a par for Mark from the tips. And that one hurts, by the way. God, that really hurts. So you're going to see par for both of us on this hole. And it's just funny how if Mark from the tips, that was a scrambling, had to chip up and down type par, as opposed to me playing regularly, that was a very comfy 2-putt, barely missed birdie par. But again, summarizes it perfectly. And this is a fun experiment so far. Hopefully you're enjoying it too. And even if you're not enjoying it, don't tell me. I don't care. Ignorance is bliss. Deal with it. And this hole is actually really, really cool. I wish I scooted the camera back a tiny bit more. The elevation on this one is so fun, and water on the right. So again, you can see all the trees are dead. This is one of my favorite courses to play when it's pure golf season, maybe later, early to midsummer, where the grass is super green, the trees are fully bloomed. It is a gorgeous course. I think, one of the luxuries of playing it during the downtime. I can't remember when I filmed this. I think it was in March. It was still super cold. You can see my outfit. It was pretty cold. The downside is, yes, it was cold. It wasn't perfect shape. But the plus side is I got to play by myself. no other idiots wanted to play in like 45, 50-degree weather on a windy, cold day. But hey, I'll take it. And this is the first hole where I really make a mess of things for both of my balls. This is just, I'm kicking it around. It is not a good look. I actually hit a pretty good bunker shot out, but it didn't spin, didn't check, and then it sailed on me, so it left me that for par, all the way down there. If I had to guess, that was probably like a 25, 30 footer. You maybe didn't see it in the green, but it was a double breaker from where I was. So it was just, this is just not a good hole, and I really need this putt to save bogey. I'll be completely happy with the way that I was hitting it around with a bogey. I already cleaned up one short putt, so this is no big deal. God, that's so bad. So bad. That is a double bogey when a 3-jack double bogey for regular mark, but again, not really counting putting. We're keeping track of GERs. Can't remember what the GER counter is, but I know what I end with, so you'll see it at the end. But anyway, on to the next hole. On the screen, you're going to see it says 382 yards. It's a lot longer than that. I think what the Grint does is that it just tracks the literal distance from the tee box to where the flag is. This is not a 313-yard par 4. As you can see, it's a dogleg right, so it doesn't account for the dog leg. It just assumes if you go from a straight line to the tee box to the tee shot. So in knowing I'm not Bryson, yes, I will be playing it like us, mere humans, mere mortals. And this one, my first shot. This actually was on the cart path. I took relief. I just dropped it there, and it was like a really wet, muddy, not a good look. But luckily, I actually get both onto the green, so mark down 2 GERs right there, the GER counters. And then it's a really bad angle. Just for context, the clubhouse and the starter is right. It's to the right. I don't know if they would have cared if I was filming or not. I just felt weird, so I left the camera in my cart, turned on the zoom, so it was really hard to see what I was doing. I believe I end up 2-putting both of those, I'm pretty sure. And so now we're on to hole 17. So I don't know if I stressed this earlier, but just to give you an idea, take a look at the little map. You need about 300 yards to be in position A, according to where the Grint says you should probably be in terms of middle fairway. I think the biggest difference from this experiment, and I think everyone knows this, but if you're not driving it, if you're not at least 270 off the tee, 275 to 280 I think is ideal. If you're around that range, 7,000 yards and playing from the tips should not be an issue for you. I think that's where I really got killed, trying to chase distance. My driver was squirrely, and then on top of that, it's never fun having to play driver, 3-wood driver, long iron, just to try and get up and down. So something for me to work on this upcoming golf season. I did try those speed sticks. I am going to start hitting the gym again. Probably not. Who am I kidding? There's no chance. You can see like my man boobs and my belly starting to poke out a little bit through this white hoodie. It is just disgusting. Anyway, on to hole 18, where you don't need driver, confirmed. Less than driver is needed here. I think from the tips, I end up using my hybrids. If you're about 2 to 215 out, puts you to an iron in. And then from my normal tee box, I think I play 5 or 6 iron here, because then it leaves me like a 9 or 8 iron in, which I'm completely okay with. I end up hitting the hybrid pretty good, but look at this. I'm pretty sure it's a 5 iron approach into the green. It's not a creek. I don't know how to explain it, but there's a huge, just kind of what used to be a creek and wasteland protecting the green. So you basically want to lay up. If you use driver, you're in that stuff, but depending on how far down you are, affects your approach shot.
Walking up to the 18th green. So that's my approach with the 5 iron from the tips, and my approach with a 9 iron. I guess it just doesn't even matter. Suck no matter what.
And I think that also summarizes the video too, where it doesn't even matter what tee box I'm playing. If I'm going to miss greens, if I'm a 9 iron, I got to stick that tight. A 5 iron, I'm completely okay with that miss where I'm still putting. I actually just putted it, as you saw. But I've really got to clean that up. One of my goals for this golf season is, 8, 9 pitch and any wedge in particular. I need to be really sharp with those. Those are the scoring clubs, as we all know. And my expectations for like a 5, 6, and I'm getting a 4 iron, by the way. So long irons and 3 woods, my expectations aren't that high. So
long story short, let's clean up the short game. Let's clean up the flat stick. And instead of trying to chase distance with the driver, we are going to work on the scoring clubs this year. But anyway, the experiment is over. We end up with a 40 and a 43. I am super, super proud of that 43 from the tips because even though it was 7 over, if you remember, there were some really, really bad missed putts. I'm probably closer to 5 over, but 5 gers to 3, that's the big takeaway. Let's work on it. And let's try this video again and get that up. Thanks for tuning in.